We're going to do a large world. But we're going to do short history and very high numbers of civilizations. High or very high civs, chat? What do you think? What do we think? Very high? Crank her up? All right. Let's put beasts up to high. Savagery. We'll leave savagery at medium. Everything else at medium. Number of sites, we'll leave it medium. Go. We're generating a large world. And this will go into our repertoire of worlds that we can mess about with. We rejected 4. The Dimension of Omens. I wonder if they're good omens or bad omens. Of course, if anybody's confused, feel free to ask questions. We fight with sticks here. That would be weird, actually, if you just had, like, very sparse veins of minerals. I like that river. Look at that big river right there. This is going to take a little while to generate. Because it is a big... Robin? What does it mean? Oh, obviously the Dimension of Omens. Let's see how quickly this generates. Here we go. Placing other beasts. Making cave pops. There we go. It begins. There we go. Get to see, oh wow, humans already. I see a volcano down at the bottom. Look at that tropical volcano on the sea. What do you mean, is it changing real time? Is the world changing in real time? The world is evolving and growing right now, yeah. So those are human settlements popping up all over the place. Those are the little chests as well as the little doors and stuff. There's roads popping up. We got some spooky shit popping up around that dwarf fortress. What the fuck is going on up there? I like that volcano down there, though. Let's just pause real quick and take a peek around before we do anything. I just want to know what the world looks like. Let's just zoom out. I quite like this continent. There's a lot going on in the middle. We got goblins in the north. There's also this area over here, which seems to, it has a lot of good biome as well. There's humans and goblins kind of spawning over here, so this could very easily end up being kind of like a human goblin, also elvish, and there's also some dwarves over here area. What's the red in the middle? Red is desert, so this would be like red sand. There's also a tiny little haunted spot up there. Bunch of haunted area over here. Also some goblins. Another set of dwarven civs over here. All right, well, let's continue. This is going to be a very full world. So we're only doing 150 years of history. It's going to take a little bit. Just because it is high population. Like, we're already running real slow. We're probably not going to get out of the Age of Myth because it is high number of beasts at this. Oily desert. The red sanded oily desert. My arms are sore. I did quite the arms workout last night. I've been trying to like build back some muscle, or regain some muscle rather, since I lost most of it when I was pissing out all my calories since January. And I'm working out basically every day and stretching every day and trying to not just like keel over and die, so I'm sore this morning. I need to do a bunch of stretching later this afternoon. But this afternoon is back, so a whole lot of push-ups. Well, as many push-ups as I can do, which isn't a lot.
Oh, it's you.
I will say this, though. I fucking missed exercising. Gibbs! Good to see you. Gibbs got that sound effect through my Patreon. Thank you very much. How you doing? We're genning up a new world to do some Legends reading. And then when we're probably gonna, I don't know, just poke around and explore this world a little bit. It's a big world, short history, and higher savagery, and very large number of civilizations. I'm seeing a second volcano, actually. That's a cool volcano. So how was your weekend, Kibbs? I hope it was, at the very least, productive. Are you back to work now? Not too bad, off work. Okay, gotcha. For the road trip tomorrow, easy peasy. And I think I need to change your sound effect, but you can't think of what to. I mean, have you played any games recently that have good sound effects? So I'm assuming this is second attempt at that road trip then, Kibbs? Amateur world genning? Yeah, I mean, it is, I didn't use any advanced parameters, so it is actually amateur world genning. With bad sound effects? Hey man, bad sound effects can be good. So this island out here is pretty evil. This top side is just the Dwarven Tower of Ishmulitast. I kind of like this island that's just kind of separated from the rest of things. Also, shoutouts to this island down here, which just has a small human settlement from the looks of things. Yeah, up here, small human settlement, a monastery, a necromancer tower, and a fort. And a tomb. And a few more human settlements. But, like, mostly just a necro tower. This is actually just the tower, the island from Lost right there. Yeah, this is one of the... Ooh, we've got a bunch of dead things. Or some dead towers. I want to know what's going on with this dwarven fortress right here. It's like... Oh, it's a goblin fortress. Interesting. The goblins took over this fortress. And that's what's... Also, the Drenched Spikes. That's a really good name for a mountain range. Drenched in the blood of their enemies, I guess. Dwarven Mountain Halls. Ooh. Dwarven Mountain Halls of Vidicolion. What's the deal with dead towers? Dead towers are necromancer towers that have been taken over and or destroyed. So... Wars can cause necromancer towers to die. This is a big fucking river. Look at the size of this river. It's a pity the elves have it, but... Another necro tower all the way the hell up here. The human tower, okay. Not seeing any humans. Oh, no, there is some human civilization. Human town. Probably came from that human town. Another island up here. Ah, look at this. The Human Forest Retreat. This is an interesting space. So I've got a Necromancer Tower up here, which is a human Necro Tower, and a bunch of evil human forest retreats. So the humans have like, the evil humans up here have taken over the elves. So it's this little island is just like a war between humans and elves. From the looks of things, dark humans run by goblins, most likely. Up in the north, we have some spooky tower-controlled areas. Nail of Pride, it's a good name. Then we've got this whole secluded kind of eastern continent with this big old good biome filled with humans, as well as some dwarven halls. destroyed dwarven hillixes. And then there's just like this little island down here, which just has a small... I always wonder, like, how did these goblins get here? Lots of tundra. I mean, it is a large world. There's so many islands that are just like off in the middle of nowhere that have stuff on them. And they floated there. Always, yeah, it's always the tunnels, but like, still. It's like, I can't get migrants. So what do you guys think? Do we want to learn more about this world or should we scrap it? Looking for that volcano. Where was that volcano? Oh, there it is. You like this world? Yeah. Yeah, and then there's another volcano over here. There's one out in the middle of the ocean. This is a pretty high volcanic activity world. Looking for other volcanoes. That wasn't bad. 15 minutes gen time ish. Yeah, exploring Zaroban, the dimension of Omens. They use the word dimension a lot in the name of the worlds that I make. I think this is world number 15. I don't know about you guys, but I have this problem with Dwarf Fortress where I really don't like deleting worlds. Like, I don't really delete worlds without backing them up in some way. Like, this is going to sound weird. I feel bad. Actually, I'm just going to restart the game real quick. Because I'm going to rename it from Region 15 so I can keep track of it. Just give me 2 seconds here. Data. Saves. All right, Region 15. The Dimension of Omens. And just so I can kind of keep track. Region 15. Not really. Okay. Start playing. See, there you go. Now I can actually keep track of it. But how you doing, Shadow Dragon? Also, as always, if you like the stuff that I do here, I do this full time. This is my main source of income. I have a Patreon. I have some goals on that Patreon. We're actually getting kind of close to my first real big goal of $500 a month. We're currently at 300 on the dot. I'm really bad at selling out and asking for money, but if you enjoy what I do and aren't financially destroyed right now, a couple bucks goes a long way. And Ari Turpus, it's good to see you. All right, where to start though? Where to start though? Civilizations and other entities. The Persuasive Hams. Okay, well, we're starting there. We are most definitely starting there. The Persuasive Hams was a dwarven civilization of the dimension of Omens. In the early spring of year 1, the Persuasive Hams held a foot race and raced lashes as part of the Copper Festival. There were five competitors. The human Idu, uttered true, was the victor. Let's look up Idu uttered true. Uttered true. Okay, uttered. Let's just look up uttered. Oopsies, that's the wrong button. That's also the wrong button. Why am I hitting buttons on this thing? I'm good at this. There you go. Died in year 69. Nice. Hams? Oh, I read that as Hams. I'm just going to keep calling it Hams, though, because that's better. Edu was a human who was one of the first of his kind. Edu became the prophet of confined deserts. In the early spring of year 1, the Persuasive Hams. I'm just, I know it's Hams. I'm going to keep calling it Hams because I like Hams more. The Persuasive Hams held a foot race in raced lashes as part of the Copper Festival. There were 5 competitors and Edu won. Well, that's not fair. You're probably racing dwarves. Like, let's think about this for a second. Probably racing dwarves, right? So of course he's going to run faster. That's not even a fair contest. Edu and Up, Savor Fame, became lovers. In the early autumn of year 8, Edu fought in the searing assault and enjoyed dive. I enjoyed that dive. The elf Enthla Chamber's right hand was stabbed by Edu. Edu settled in godly praises, became a member of the Faith of Trust, and became a holy member of the Faith of Trust. Died of old age. Your god was Tura. Kindness Days. Object of ardent worship. Let's find out a little bit about Kindness Days, shall we? Human god. Athil Kindness Days was a deity that occurs in the myth of the Truthful Unions. Athil was the most often depicted as a male human and is associated with silence. Well, I mean, you didn't do much in your life, so I guess that's why. Yeah, it didn't say that he died and he had no kills. Or no, what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, no notable kills. So if there was any kills, they weren't written down in the history books. All right, let's look up something else. Let's go back to that civilization. Hams. Who is your king? First king, perhaps. Well, actually, the Rock Lemma Math Quest, the Cyclopean Fern, became an enemy of the Persuasive Hams. 2 rocks, 3 rocks actually. The Walk World Edin, the Brave. Oh, hey, thanks for the raid, Sibla Duba. I probably completely butchered that, but thank you very much for the raid. Cheers, man. It doesn't show up in chat because raids of 1 don't show up in the chat, but you, all the same. I want to look up one of these rocks. Let's look up World Dawn the Brave. What % do I get from tips versus subs? I can't tell you. But what I can tell you is I get like 98% of the tips through direct PayPal. I get the highest percentage of, because all I need to pay is conversion fees and transfer fees, which is a couple dollars. Not even, it's like a very small percentage. Patreon, I get the vast majority. Subs, I can't tell you what percentage I get. I'm under contract to not say. No, raids of 1 don't show up in chat. Guess what? What? Chicken butt. User in. World done. No. Oh, wow. That is very important. There you go. World on the brain. Brave. World. I read that my brain processed it as world as in W-O-R-L-D, not W-H-I-R-L-E-D. Guys, can I get a round of beers in chat for Useroon because you used to be rich? Good job wasting all of your tickets. Well, channel points, not tickets. That is very, very, very important. World on the Brave was a rock. He was one of the only ones of his kind. Settled in the drenched spikes and became an enemy of literally everybody. Fought with the dwarf Mumas, Horntombs. While defeated, the latter escaped unscathed. I think we need to look up what happened to that dwarf. In the early spring of 48, a chopped mule liver was stolen from Green Bunch by World Dawn during the Rampage of Green Bunch.
Tough times, bro, smiley face. I love Dwarf Fortress.
Hold on. I need to confirm something that you didn't, like, put an extra 2 zeros on that. Yeah, are you sure? Okay. Well, you get stupid skulls. Thank you for the absurdity. Holy shit, dude. Wow. All right. I will try and recalibrate my brain then and continue reading. A raw guppy was stolen from FurQuest. Can I just say that there is a place called FurQuest, F-U-R-Q-U-E-S-T here. I'm pretty sure that's a furry convention. Please let it just be a... What is happening right? Excuse me.
Let me get in on that action.
What the... Are you trying to shut my brain off? I think that was $100 Canadian. Thanks, Soaps. Dude, if only it was next to the naughty hole. Guys, my birthday's not till next week. Little bit, yeah, audio. Okay, I will go back to reading. Thank you, Soaps. And Shadow Dragon. For being fucking insane. It does that sometimes, unfortunately. I'm pretty good at the Canadian to American conversions, Soaps. Is your most prominent feature? Yeah, I can see that. in. Hey, Russ. What's up, dude? How many crossbow tournaments? I haven't found any crossbow tournaments yet, but the coolest thing that I found recently, Russ, in a world, was we found a demon who founded a goblin civilization, took over a dwarven civilization in the first 15 years, and then proceeded to do nothing but travel around the world to every single fortress, and 4 to 5 times a year participating in wrestling contests, and would almost always win, with the exception of one dwarven necromancer who would sometimes beat him. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. So if you guys don't know Russ, go follow Russ. Russ is good people. Right? Interesting. So Tuduscus Ruku, the World Dawn the Brave, this is a rock, so a giant bird of prey, received the worship from a whole bunch of humans and a dwarf. Even though he's just running around striking down dwarves. The Dwarf Titan, the Dwarf Titans, okay, so this rock attacked the dwarf and tore him to bits, basically. Oh, interesting. Became the enemy of the Cradled Band. I'm seeing a lot of really good names here. Fresh Sack. Became the enemy of the Fresh Sack. That's a good name. Lots of good names here. Oh, my sack is the freshest. Last thing this rock did was in the early spring of 121, the human Kando managed to escape. How many kills do you have overall? Probably quite a few, I'd assume. Holy shit, you're enemies with everybody. That is a lot of civilizations. I did say large number of civilizations, but damn. Hey, at least they didn't steal the rock lobster. All right, I want to find out what happened to that first human who got attacked by the rock. Certainly is a large number of civs. Also, Russ, how you hanging in there? Saw your tweets. Hope that things are going over on your end. Where were you? Yeah, fought with the dwarf when it was Horn Tombs. While defeated, the latter escaped unscathed. I need to look up Horn Tombs. And what was the name of that one that was for something? I'm sure I can look it up. For something. Horn Tombs. This dwarf. Was one of the first of his kind, became the mayor of the Whip of Luck. And in the early spring of year 1, the Rock, the Brave, attacked Mooms. They fought, but the latter escaped unscathed, had a bunch of lovers, scandalous, over the next, 30 years. Fought in the squished battle in the squished dune, and fought in the Clash of Frenzies. Seems to have gotten into a whole bunch of fights, but became friends. Cemented a bond of friendship with an elf. Fur quests, that was it, yeah, fur quests. Just random anxiety last week. Gotcha, that's good. Get over that shit. It ain't worth it. Fought in the fierce clashes of the Violent Prairie? Yeah, it seems this dwarf was definitely fought in a lot of wars. Man, what a fucking hero. In the year 90, fought in their last siege, and in the year 92, died of old age. So this dwarf was alive at the beginning of the foundation of the world, so we don't know how old this dwarf actually was, but died of old age peacefully. Had 6 notable kills, all goblins. You had an object of ardent worship. I wonder. I'm looking at the former spouse. I was curious to see if they worshipped a rock, but it doesn't look like it. Bazat Control Skunk. What the heck is Bazat Control Skunk? Control Skunk. There we go. Worgen Goddess was a deity that occurs in the myths of the Rope of Forever. Bezit was the most often depicted as a female dwarf and was associated with boundaries, nature, the sun, fire, volcanoes, and mountains. Me too. But fur quests is the next thing we need to look up. Oopsies. I accidentally backed out of the whole world. I had to escape one too many times. Yeah, right? She's definitely the hot dwarf lady. Civilizations. Fur. Maybe it's a location? So we've got Fur Amber, Fury Skunk, which is a really good name. Fury Skunk! The Forest of Farting! Sorry, I have a child's brain sometimes. Blocked Fur, Furnace Faskin, Bind Fur. Fur Quest was a hamlet. The League of Vaulting of the Bright Nation founded Fur Quest. The human Fury, Flashed Mist, became a mercenary operating out of Fur Quest. This is a new world gen, yeah. So I do these little streams sometimes to kind of start off get into the mood for DF, where I generate up a new world. I generate up a new world, and then we read Legends for a little bit, maybe do some adventure mode for a couple minutes, and then jump into an actual fort just to kind of get into the mood for DF. So this is a new world that we genned up like maybe 10 minutes before you got here. It's a large world. I can show you the map in a minute. It's a large world, short history, maximum number of civilizations, high savagery. The dimension of Omens, yes. But we'll be jumping into an older world, and playing a relatively new fort in the older world today. Do animal people have sights? I don't know. Animal people are strange. Like, they don't really build stuff. Like, yeah, you'll see bear people and stuff, but... All right, anyway. So, Fur Quest. Ooh, the rock. FEMA. There's a lot of rocks in this world. I need to find out how many there are. Oh, a giant attacked them. The human ruled the boyish ape of the League of Vaulting in Fur Quest. A raw clownfish was stolen from Fur Quest by the giant Istrath Castle Fragrance during the giant rampage in Fur Quest. A sewer brew was stolen by the giant. So a giant attacked them, stole fish and alcohol, and peaced. Sadly underdeveloped. Something I would love to see more of would be like other constructions in the world. Like, to me, one of the coolest things I've ever encountered in Dwarf Fortress, I can't remember which fort it was, but I dug down to the first cavern layer and immediately found a completely constructed dwarven highway. One of the coolest fucking things I've ever seen. Anything that like adds construction into, anything that adds construction. It does sound like something from the Nordics, right? Anything that adds construction into Dwarf Fortress is fucking cool to me, and I wish that there was more of that. Right, Axon? It was fucking awesome. I think I did a bunch of Today in DFs out of that. God, they keep getting hit by... well, I mean, the Rock World Dawn attacked them, the Brave. A Cyclops attacked them. Search Scholars, the Cloudy, fought with the human Toad. While defeated, the latter escaped unscathed. Man, that Cyclops did quite a bit of damage to them, attacking quite a few of them. A dwarf is visiting. The human Lippy, Lion Bruce, became a bard. That definitely sounds like a bard name. They got attacked by a giantess. In the year 122, some humans visited. Oh, Lippy settled. That bard. I guess they decided to stay there. Also, they have the human Eustris Standard Dune recruited monks into the Order of Confining. But let's just look up rock. Let's see how many rocks there are. Okay, so there's a Hydra, which died in the year 37. Rock, like one. Actually, let's type this in. Male rock. Oh, doesn't give me that. Yeah, there's tons of rocks in this world. There's also a dragon. Ustra Sweltered Flicker the Hot. You saw a zombie rock? Where's the zombie rock? Okay, we'll look for that later. I want to read about the hot. Ustra Sweltered Flicker the Hot was a dragon that was one of the only ones of its kind. Ustra was associated with wealth and fire. That's fitting. You wish it? Yeah, me too. Tapioca. I always try to and then remember that doesn't work. The coconut palm ring was stolen from Empire Tufts by Ostra during the rampage of the dragon Ostra Sweltered Flicker the Hot in Empire Tufts, and brought to Silver Echoed, the gleeful Gill. Struck down a couple humans, became some enemies of some people. Anything interesting? Stole another wood ring. This dragon must like wooden rings. His name means fool. I mean, he's going after wooden rings, which is a little counterproductive. A phalite figurine was stolen. Struck down some elves, good dragon. A giant rat bone bracelet. This thing's gotta have like bone scepter, snail shell figurine. Last thing he did was strike down an elf. 23 notable kills. Nothing super exciting. So where's that zombie rock? Male rock. Male rock. Bronze Colossus. The Bronze Colossus is still alive. I mean, female rock. Female human, male goblin. Female? Ah, there you go. Female leopard lark. Died in year 12. Not a lot of history on this one. Mymail was a zombie rock animated by unknown forces. Mymail was associated with hunting. The wind and the sky settled in the points of crackling. Mymail was attacked by the net of friends in channeled mouths. In mid-spring, Mymail was struck down by Dodic postgears in channel mouths. Mymail was struck down also by a dwarf in channel mouths. As one kill, Dodic Pastgears, the dwarf. That's a great dragon name. Like, you might as well have named that dragon Roman fucking Candle. Thanks, guys, for pointing that out, though. That's cool. Now, here's the question. Is it still alive and it reanimated as a zombie, or was it reanimated before time began? Because that's my question right now. That's the question. The River of Fords, an elven force. The River of Fords was a force which was said to permeate the jungles of Stopping. That's a name. The river was associated with rivers and nature. Well, geez, I wonder why. It's an elvish god. Let's jump into another civilization, shall we? So we've looked at the Persuasive Hams, or as I like to call them, the Persuasive Hams, because that's a much better name. Flogger. I want to know what Flogger is. Flogger sounds like an Irish punk band. Flogger was a kobold group in the Dimension of Omens, of course. And a Minotaur attacked them. The Minotaur, the mighty ghoul, became an enemy of Flogger. Almost immediately. Flogging Molly? I mean, probably a Flogging Molly cover band. Looks like they're just the enemy of a bunch of people. Which one did you said sound cool? The Realms of Chaining? There you go. Omon Ekul. The Realms of Chaining. Giggity. I think I've been to that website before. Realms of Chaining. I would like a go to... Dude, Flogger totally opens for Necrogoblicon all the time. Like, I'm telling you. Like, if you're going to go to Necrogoblicon, it's like an 80% chance you're going to see Flogger opening for them. And, you know, they're not that good, but as a gimmick band, they're okay. Their first album had a few catchy riffs on it, but man, I wish their vocalist was better. He just sounds like he's vomiting up beer all the time. It's disgusting. You knew that I know that? Of course I know Necrogoblicon. Anyway, the Realms of Chaining is a human civilization. I can't read. Is a human civilization in the dimension of Dunes. The decent fellowship of the Realms of Chaining founded Crew Scarred. I read that as Crew Screwed the first time, which would have been a much better name. The ancient band of kings of the Realms of Chaining founded Baldness Dips. I think that might be Northern Lions crew. Baldness Dips. Although if they were Baldness Eggs, that would be even better. But we need to look up the Ancient Band of Kings, because that is a fantastic thing. The Cyclops Geth became the enemy of them. Let's see, did they do anything particularly cool? They attacked the Spattered League. They attacked the Ancient Band of... the Livid Coats attacked the Ancient Band of Kings in the Realms of Chaining at Baldness. The elf Join Flutes led the attack. The defenders were led by the human hawk Joked Closet. Necrogoblicon is real. Necrogoblicon is a goblins-themed metal band. They didn't seem to do too much interesting. Let's, but I need to look up the Ancient Band of Kings. Band of Kings. Wogil Sida? Dang, the Ancient Band of King. No, Necrogoblicon is a real band. Just go look them up, dude. You're not being had. Here, I'll give you a link redoodle. And their YouTube channel is called Necrogoblitube. They're kind of like Gwar, you know. They're a gimmick band. It just happens to be a good gimmick band. Just realized I forgot to turn off my amplifier. All right. The Ancient Band of Kings. The Ancient Band of Kings in the Realms of Chaining, founded by the Baldness Dips. In the mid-spring of year 2, the dragon Setad Glow Sizzles. The sweltering flames became their enemy. The livid coasts attacked the Ancient Band of Kings in the Realms of Chaining at Baldness Dips, and the elf Join Flutes led the attack, and the defenders were led by the human hawk Joked Closet. The hill titan Glenpax, the Saffron, became their enemy, and a human Lima Cloudwipe. The Ancient Band of Kings created the position of Lord, pushed by the wave of popular support. Lima Contain Wipe. Gotta contain that wipe. Lima ruled from the Tree of Everstating in the Ancient Band of Kings in Baldness Dips. Tubal Flames, the giant Tubal Flame Sports. Oh, fame sports. The adventurous became the enemy of the ancient band of kings. The jaguar, cheerful hails, became their enemy as well. Lots of enemies. Not many people like these guys. The saltwater crocodile became their enemy, for God's sake. The lady, Gita weakness snacks, became the lady of the ancient band of kings. The decent fellowship of Cruisguard and the ancient band of kings became enrolled in a dispute over fishing rights. I don't think I've ever seen anything about that before. Well, they're just very video gamey inspired, you know? The decent fellowship and the ancient band of kings became enrolled in a dispute over fishing rights. The saltwater crocodile man, a pier hash, devoured a caviso. Interesting. They got attacked by a saltwater crocodile man. Devoured a turkey. Devoured a blue peacock. Oh, scandalous. And a troll became their enemy. And devoured a turkey hen. Yeah, let's look up a pier hash. The saltwater crocodile man. Who's totally not just a Spider-Man villain. Why am I not seeing this? What was his first name? Did you catch it? Oh, Hush. I read that as Hash. There you go. Died in 99. A pier hush, the saltwater crocodile, born in 35 of unknown parentage. Became an enemy of a bunch of people. Struck down the dwarf Dumas. The year he was born. So before this crocodile man was even a year old, struck down a dwarf. Became an enemy of the ruthlessness of drink. The demon of doctrine. And attacked a goblin. The latter escaped unscathed, devoured a beak dog in the ruthlessness of drink, in hate singed. A pier hash ambushed a dwarf. He fought with the pier hash, and the dwarf escaped. Became the enemy of a bunch of things, devoured a whole bunch of stuff, and then died of old age. 2 notable kills and 6 other kills. Related site, Hall Shingle, a place they called home. Yeah, I read it as hash. I don't know why. My brain just like auto-completed that to hash. Yeah, they were a saltwater crocodile man. Yeah. Saltwater crocodile man. The Merc of Dominations. That's a really good name. Struck down the dwarf Domas Brain Cudgels in the Merc of Dominations. Yeah, they were literally a child. Yeah, exactly. Also, there was a long break between killings. 64, they were doing all sorts of stuff and devouring things. And then between the years 64 and 75, so 11 years, really. Actually, no, they did some stuff in 68. But still, ambushed a dwarf but didn't kill them. There was a long gap between stuff. Well, not too much going on there. Let's go find another civvy. The Swift Mansion. The Natural Cruelties. That's the Yellow Empire. Oh, yeah. All the really good names are always Cobalt names, like Gaber. Gaber was a Cobalt group in the Dimension of Omens. Gaber of Saglibus constructed Dragalabincus. Dragalabincus. And then a Cyclops became their enemy. Another Cyclops became their enemy. A Titan became their enemy. And Hydra became their enemy and attacked them. And the Hydra routed Gaber in the year 39. Gaber? It's like Uber, but for gays. Okay. Although, what the heck was that thing that was created? Draga Lab. I think that's an artifact? No. Must have been a site or something. Nothing is as good as the naughty hole, though. The mechanical tick. The Hell of Cloaks. Okay, I need to know what that is. The Hell of Cloaks was a goblin group from the dimension of Omens. The Hell of Cloaks, the adventurous spider, founded Sin Controls. The Hell of Cloaks, the adventurous spider, constructed the Lemon of Horror in Sin Controls. The Goblin Zolak, puppet devils, the Hell of Cloaks, compelled the creation of the position of Lord with threats of violence. The Goblin Zolak became the Lady of the Hell of Cloaks, and the Bronze Colossus Nykokt attacked them in Sin Controls. The Goblin Zom Menace Blockades became the Lord of the Hell of Cloaks, I guess because the other one died. And then they imprisoned a bunch of dwarves, like a shit ton of dwarves and humans and elves. Man, these guys are just running a prison, basically. And then they got, they became enemy with a giant. And in the Midsummer, the Violet Nations attacked the Hell of Cloaks, and the defenders were led by the Goblin Ispu Beldemon. The human Strasve escaped from the prisons of the Hell of Cloaks. So the Hell of Cloaks is basically just a prison. Like, it's basically just a prison. Wait, what did they capture? The Hell of Cloaks, the adventurous spider, constructed the Sewer of Love in Sin Controls. The Sewer of Love. The Bon Jovi album that never actually got finished. Let's look up the Bronze Colossus. Nykokt Pitchlord. Pitch. Lord. There you go. Punch Lord. That's a better name. That's so much better. Nykokt Punch Lord. Can we all just, like, talk about how great that name for a giant monster is? How you doing, Impalification? The Sewer of Love. Yeah, the Sewer of Love is just like the evil version of the Rivers of Love. I'm just tweeting this out because this is a good name. You know, I've never actually encountered a Bronze Colossus in Dwarf Fort. True story. Nykokt Punch Lord. Punch Lord. You know what I'm imagining? You know those Rock'em Sock'em robots? Pop, pop, pop. That's what I'm imagining. Attacked the Hall of Cloaks. Seems to have just killed some trolls and some goblins. Yeah, in Fortress mode. I've never encountered one. Yeah, but like I'm constantly in worlds with Bronze Colossuses that are alive. I've also never, what, Nykokt Punch Lord sounds like a parody power metal band, sure. Punch Lord? I could see Punch Lord being like a parody power metal band. They'd open, or Twilight Force would probably open for them. And, they'd be the middle band that would be opening for Glory Hammer. Twilight Force would open, Glory Hammer would be second, or Glory Hammer would be the headliner, and Punch Lord would be like kind of the second act. It's a good name though. Hal Season Lord the Stern, Bumblebee Worker Deity. What? Hal Season Lord the Stern was a deity that occurs in the myths of the Lavender realm. Hal was the most often depicted as a bumblebee worker and was associated with discipline, lightning, the rain, and trees. Huh. I don't think I've ever seen a insect god before. I've seen lots of moths and like stuff like that, but I've never seen a bee. I guess moths are an insect, but that's really fucking cool. Like actually really fucking cool. A lightning bee that can cause rain and grow trees. Yeah. I mean, its punishment for disciplining its workers is obviously just striking them down with a holy bolt of lightning. Oh, you have a queen bee deity in your world? That's badass, actually. Also want to tweet this out. This is good. This is good shit right here. Man, I want to see that thing drawn. That's the one thing that bums me out about this stuff sometimes. Is like, man, I want to see these drawn. Male Risen Hunter. Civilian ran a DF-themed DMD campaign with Grim Devil. And they had a termite god of death. I once had a leech god of poison. Poison, suicide, and death, which was an interesting one. There's another bronze colossus. Yeah, there's lots of bronze colossi in this world. Thema of the female hydra. Man, there's enough like male and female hydras in this. You could maybe get a breeding pair. Holy shit. Alanio Champion Sculpts the Juice of Apes was a hydra. She was one of the only ones of her kind. She was associated with strength, rebirth, and muck. And I think single-handedly murdered an entire cobalt civilization. Oh, good God. Oh, those poor fucking kobolds. A human confronted her and was struck down after she murdered all of the kobolds in 39. In the year 42, probably trying to avenge the kobolds. Devoured a cat in the year 52. Oh my God. Fought with an elf. The latter escaped unscathed. Well then, congratulations to that elf. Attacked the human Kaiscast champion plane. And struck him down. Murdered a bunch of elves. The last thing they did was in the year 124. The dwarf Toulon Dirth Gravel escaped. "37 notable kills. 39 other kills. A lot of animals. Mostly kobolds. Oh, those poor fucking kobolds, man. I guess they're just like easy pickings, right? Let's look for a forgotten beast. Zonar, the subordinate of defense. Forgotten beast. Zonar, the subordinate defense, was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a towered, feathered dimetrodon. It has a knobby trunk, and it undulates rhythmically. Its chestnut feathers are long and narrow. Beware its deadly dust. Zonar was associated with water, thraldom, and caverns. In the time before time, Zonar began wandering the depths of the world. Kobolds are a deference. Yes, you're right. There's an R in that word. Yeah, I know it's a dinosaur. I've looked them up before. I know what they look like. Some drawings of the Forgotten Beast, some drawings you see are actually really nice. Dude, Dwarf Fortress makes me sad that I can't really draw. The Speckled Morsel. The Speckled Morsel was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind. A giant towering quadruped composed of marble. It has a short tail and a gaunt appearance. Beware its deadly dust. The Speckled Morsel was associated with thraldom and caverns. That is a scary one because marble. Dino nerd senses, they have feathers. Accrue the Gnarled Mines was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind. A towering, eyeless, eight-legged ceratopsid? What the heck is that? It squirms and fidgets. I've never seen one of those. Its taupe gray scales are blocky and close set. Beware its deadly dust. Associated with disease and caverns. That is a nasty one. Baktor, Plague Deep. The Bewildering Cloak was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a huge, one-eyed raven. It's square, it has a square shell, and it is slavering. Its lemon feathers are long and sparse. Beware its poisonous bite. Baktor was associated with lies and caverns. Not too bad, because it has to come down to bite. So not too bad. Investments are open. Heads up, chat. Let's read some more Forgotten Beasts. These are fun. Erog, the Starvation of Skulls. Can I see some skulls in chat? Was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind. An enormous, scaly flatworm. It has a spiral shell, and it has a bloated body. Its scales are large and close set, and it has noxious secretions. It is associated with caverns and blight. Man, all these are scary. Lineup was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a gigantic blood composed of mud. It has 3 stubby tails, and it undulates rhythmically. Beware its poisonous vapors, because it stank and doesn't wear deodorant. Linepipe was associated with disease and caverns and probably could get killed with a slap from somebody breathing on it. It's a family of dinosaurs, including Triceratops. Oh, really? I'm not much of a dino nerd, so my dino knowledge is minimal, I would say. But thank you. Good to know. Neckar was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a huge humanoid composed of gypsum. It has a knobby shell and a gaunt appearance. Beware its deadly spittle. That's a scary one, because it's composed of rock. It was associated with water, lies, and caverns. Yeah, that one's... I wouldn't want to fight that one. That one is scary. I've seen Stegosaurus, so yes, they're possible. Neglak was a forgotten beast, and the only one of its kind. An enormous scaly snail. It has a thin wings and a stretched skin. It appears to be emaciated. Its mauve scales are jagged and close set. Beware its poisonous sting. Naglak was associated with water, treachery, and caverns. Utash, the Knight of Crevices, was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, an enormous feathered, 8-legged mongoose. It squirms and fidgets. Beware its poisonous bite. No fire yet. Let's scroll down a little bit. Jump a little bit. Alas, I like this name. Alas was a beast, the only one of its kind, a towering eyeless frog. Oh my god. But does it have tips? You have a world where a demon associated with war, death, and blight killed a dragon. Really? And then later died to an elephant. Well, obviously, elephants are much more scary than dragons. Come on. It has a spiral shell and it squirms and fidgets. Its green skin is rough and cracked. Beware its poisonous gas. Alas was associated with water, jealousy, and caverns. That one's fitting because frogs can be poisonous. Thorn, it's good to see you. First word you hear is stank. Well, dude, okay, so there is a whole faction named after skunks in this, so I think this world's stinky. Sposs. Nako Ravdi, the Clout of Infernos. That's a good name. The Clout of Infernos was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind. An enormous one-eyed serpent. It has a spiral shell and it is slavering. Its indigo scales are large and close set. Beware its poisonous sting. The Clout was associated with fame and content creation and Twitter. No, actually. The water, chaos, and caverns. You got to get that online clout, if you know what I'm saying. This, you know, they don't... I know they say that this beast is forgotten, but this beast has a hell of an Instagram following. I like this one. What do you guys think of just reading these forgotten beasts? I'm having a blast with this. I don't know about you guys. This is way too entertaining to me. Oh, definitely a good Twitter follow. Almost as, like, random as Drill, but, like, you know, a little bit more chaotic. The Deceiver of Labyrinths. Okay, I need to know. The Deceiver of Labyrinths, Vimini Withonda, was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a great iguanodont. With external ribs. It has a fat, bulging trunk, and it has a great bloated body. Its eyes glow spring green, and its taupe gray scales are jagged and close set. Beware its poisonous bite. The Deceiver was associated with treachery and caverns. That's a very good name. Does Drill still tweet? Yeah. Yeah, he does. Drill does indeed still tweet. I can't... Drill, the man who got famous, I assume it's a man who got famous for literally just tweeting the word no. The Hollows of Mining. Radar. Radar? Is that Radar or Radir? Radir. I like Radir. Radir sounds cooler. Radir was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a huge blob composed of grime and filth. Its wings. It has wings and a bloated body. Beware its deadly spittle. Yeah, it was associated with theft and caverns. Not too scary on that one. Drill actually has a pretty successful Patreon and has written 2 books. So, dude's made a weird career out of his bullshit. I almost bought his book. Yes, the Little. Yes, the Little was a forgotten beast, and the only one of its kind. A gigantic humanoid composed of clear glass. It has 2 long hanging tails, and it squirms and fidgets. Beware its deadly spittle. It was associated with jealousy and caverns. Dude, I would read a how-to basic book. Let's read this one. This one's dead. Eusteth, Phage Gleamed, the Cavernous Tumors. Eusteth Phageglean the Cavernous Tuvers was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a gigantic skinless loris. So we all know what lorises look like, right? It has 2 narrow tails, and it is slavering. Beware its deadly spittle. It was associated with disease and caverns. We all know what lorises look like, right? So imagine this right here. But with no skin. I'm sorry, but I'm screaming inside. Hey, Sasspot, what's up? That is horrifying. Yeah, that, but with no skin and 2 tails, and it's trying to kill you. Also, it spits acid. So it's a... That is... There's something about those eyes. Lorises creep me out. I don't know. Like, I know people... There's like a big underground market for people keeping them as pets. And, like, it's kind of horrible. And poaching is really bad for them. And they're, like... Apparently they're really cuddly. But, like... Fuck, that's too fucking spooky, man. Anyway. In the time before time, Musteth began wandering the depths of this world and became an enemy of the planted hammers in the ancient tombs and attacked a goblin who escaped unscathed, struck down a bunch of dwarves, but in the early spring, Musteth was struck down by the goblin Tongues Bolted. Had 7 notable kills and 5 other kills, and was related to 2 civilizations. Let's look up Tongues Bolted. Swap this up a little bit. Why can't I... Bolted. Why can't I spell that? Kind of... what do eyes look like again? Oh yeah, eyes are also horrifying. Dude, I had a were-eye attack me. What was that person's name? That goblin's name? It was something bolted. I said tongues bolted, did I? Thought that's what it said. Tongue Seduced? That's a good name, but not the one we're looking for. Maybe, yeah, maybe it was Tongs. Nope. Sound Bolted? That's a good name. Nightmare Bolted. Bolted Scorpion. Monstrous Bolted. S-Bolt. Yeah, no, I must have this completely wrong. Let's just look at it again. Let me refind it. was this one. It is tongs bolted. Tongs bolted. Oh no, okay, never mind. It was struck down in tongs bolted. Tongs bolted is the place where it was struck down, and the goblin is unnamed. Yeah, it's a place. Okay. Well, that sucks. We don't have a name for it. Guys, can I just say I have the greatest thumbnail ever right now? Check this out. That's the thumbnail for my stream right now. This is perfect. Creating the perfect content for all of you. Look up the date, year 78. I mean, I can't search by date, but I can go to Tongs Bolted and look at the date. It's a fortress. The Forgotten Beast attacked them. Forgotten Beast struck down a goblin. But then they held a procession. Was struck down by a goblin. Yeah. It's just a goblin. No, that's the best. Somebody screenshot that and tweet it at me, please. I mean, actually, I could just... Here's the tweet link. Let me grab it. Reading about Forgotten Beasts, I swear. I swear I'm in the right directory. Also, I feel honored because Darth Plagueis the Wise just followed us. Thank you very much. Dwarf became a pilgrim. Bunch of visitors. Yeah, seems like a nice place. Also, for those of you who haven't seen the map, the world's quite big. Let's actually just run through the history real quick. These are all of the different civilizations in this world. There's a lot of them. Lots overlapping there, especially on that continent on the left. In the west. There's kind of like that big-ass chunk of untouched wilderness in the middle, though. Also, hope you're doing well, Saspot. Yeah, right? Those borders must just be a clusterfuck. It's time. It's almost lunchtime for me, guys. Oopsies. But I want to do some more. Oops, I hit escape too many times. I was like, why am I on the main menu? I do want to do some more Legends reading, but I have to go check my blood sugar, do an injection, and grab my sandwich. So I'm going to have to go AFK for a couple of minutes here. It's kind of all I can really do, unfortunately. So if you guys could just hang out, that'd be great. If you decide to leave, that's up to you. I will be back hopefully in under 10 minutes. Yeah. So I will be back in a little bit. If you have sound commands, do me a huge favor and spam your sound commands and entertain everybody. I'll be back in a minute. A couple minutes. No!
for everyone!
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out. Sorry about the long break. Terminator, that's awesome. I hope that the little getting started guide helps. No one used ketchup. Nervicious, thanks for those. I'd like to find one myself, to be honest with you, Tapioca. So, blood sugar was a little low, so I have apple. Just a little bit on the low side. Definitely not dangerously low, but was a little bit low. But yeah, we back. Thanks everybody for waiting. Like 4.9. Which is fine. It's just low for me. Hey, Prof. Well, like, you gotta remember, Soaps, my body's still used to being very high. So, when I'm low, I start getting signs of being low early. Earlier than most people. I once found a necromancer, a lady dwarven necromancer that kept marrying people, murdering them, and turning them into zombies, and then marrying more people, and then murdering them. That was yesterday. Then I hit 3.9. It was pretty great, yeah. It's like something that you'd read like a Shakespeare play about. I don't even have that world anymore. That world got deleted a while ago. Shadow. The Static Cavern. Let's look at some more Forgotten Beasts. Those are fun. I don't know. Sass, I don't pay attention to The Sims. This one's just called On. On was a forgotten beast and the only one of his kind, a gigantic scaly slug. It has thin wings and stretched skins, and it is ravening. Its bronze scales are small and close set. Beware its deadly dust. Oh, probably. Sasspot. I don't know. The Sims is one of those games where, like, once you run out of stuff to do, but you want to keep playing, you just do fan-made challenges. It's just like Dwarf Fortress. Beware, it's belly button lint. How you doing? Oh, force. Adathia Dive Coast the Spurting. I like Adathia Fail Banakabil Fuffire much more. The Dive Coast of Spurting was a forgotten beast and the only one of its kind. It had a huge hornbill with lidless eyes. It has large mandibles and it is ravening. Hornbill with mandibles. Its russet feathers are long and sparse. Beware its deadly blood. Was associated with waters, caverns, and blight. I hear people like Autonauts. Not my kind of game, though. I'm trying real hard to not chew into the mic, so let me know if I am. Ack. Ack was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind. A towering three-eyed lobster with a pair of fan-like antennae. It has a bloated body and its auburn exoskeleton is sleek and smooth. Beware its poisonous bite. It was associated with water, chaos, and caverns. Synot. Appa. Let's see what Appa is. Appa was a flying creature in Avatar, The Last Airbender. It was the only one of its kind, a huge panther with lidless eyes. It has two long spiral horns and it belches and croaks. Its eyes glow mahogany, and its heliotrope hair is patchy. Beware its poisonous vapors. Appa was associated with water, torture, and caverns. Wouldn't it be great if it was a giant flying bison? Or is in like a paddle, right? Abe Lincoln was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a huge one-eyed crocodile. It has large mandibles and a bloated body. Its gray scales are jagged and close set. Beware its poisonous vapors. Lots of deadly dust and poisonous vapors. In that one episode? Oh yeah, that one episode. I need to rewatch that show. That show was good. I don't know. I'm so like burnt on The Last Airbender now because that sequel series they did was awful. Melly, the Forgotten Beast. It was the only one of its kind, a towering, scaly snail. It has thin wings and stretched skin, and it undulates rhythmically. Its pine green scales are blocky and overlapping. Beware its poisonous bite. Melly was associated with murder and caverns. I hated everything about Korra. Like, I like what they tried to do with that show thematically, but I didn't like any of the characters at all. That was the problem I had with Korra. My older sister actually uses DF to generate D&D worlds. Shadow Dragon. The Lustful Deep of Minds. Appa could be a Titan, yeah. A giant flying bison. 2 horns, I think. Its vanilla hair is bulging and fluffy. A soundtrack in Korra? I can't even remember what the soundtrack was. Gabe! Gabe was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a huge quadruped composed of mud. It has an enormous shell and a bloated body. Beware its poisonous vapors. Gabe was associated with depravity, caverns, and steam. Wait. Beware its constant shedding. Yeah, right? Why is this one track louder than the rest of this album? I don't know. YouTube will never tell. The Sea of Terrors. Obzu, the Sea of Terrors, was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, a humanoid composed of grime and filth. It has a pair of squat antennae, and it has a gaunt appearance. Beware its poisonous sting. The sea was associated with water, jealousy, and caverns. I have a question. This is a humanoid. Where does it sting from? Its fingers? Does it have a tail? Its antenna, maybe? Its face? Korra had great anime. Like, visually, Korra was great. Axon. Visually, the show was great. I just didn't like the writing or the characters. Like, maybe I'm just old. I don't know. But, like, I just couldn't get into anything about that show. No, this whole game is, all of this is randomly generated. The Grave of Phantoms. The Grave of Phantoms was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind. An enormous quadruped composed of crystal opal. Fuck that noise. It has wings and a bloated body. Beware its poisonous gas. The grave was associated with suicide in caverns because it destroys your fort and you have no fucking hope. You don't want to know where its sting is from? Oh, God. Freskins, with the 2 years! Thank you for the 2 years, dude. Thank you so much for the 2 years. Man, I watched all of Korra with my ex, and she thought it was okay. I didn't like that show. I guess that's my big problem with Korra was... as a show, it was decent. As a follow-up to Avatar, it was an insult. Like, it was bad as a follow-up to Avatar. I guess the problem is, Avatar is an 11.5 out of 10 show for me. Like, it's one of my favorite, it's maybe my favorite cartoon animation of all time, period. Guys, can I get a proper round of beers in chat for our dude Freskins here? But Legend of Korra is like a 6 out of 10. So when you go directly from Avatar to Korra, it's like a slap in the face. Took all of the things that were super special about Avatar and kind of made them mundane, and also the spirituality aspect of Avatar was so much more deep to me. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, Korra tries to tackle different political issues, you know, to do with identity and sexuality and growing up and those kind of issues, whereas Avatar was more about like religion and politics. I just think that all of the issues that Avatar tackles, they do a much better job tackling them than in Korra. That's fair, yeah. So, Soaps, I'm not a big fan of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, but that's a bloody good soundtrack. It's just a good mixtape soundtrack. And that's a nice looking record. Check this out. Soaps just posted this. That looks rad. I don't know. I was never a big fan. I'm not a big fan of Marvel movies in general. And I didn't find the Guardians of the Galaxy movies to be great. Unpopular opinion, but damn. I'm not saying there wasn't some redeeming qualities in Korra, but just as a follow-up, bleh. That was the second one they made, right? I never watched it. I saw the first Spider-Man that they made. I don't know. I'm so fucking burnt out on superhero movies. I just can't be asked. Like, I didn't particularly like Spider-Man Homecoming because it just felt like every single other Marvel movie ever made. And, look, I was bored of them by Winter Soldier. There is no but. I'm just bored of the formula. Winter Soldier was the last one I enjoyed. The Terrible Echoes was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, an enormous leech composed of flame. It has wings and a bloated body. The Terrible Echoes was associated with jealousy and caverns. Which is why, like, and I never liked the Guardians of the Galaxy. I think, for me, the Guardians of the Galaxy, I just didn't like the humor. I just didn't find it funny. Like, I never watched part 2 of the big finale stuff. It's just... For me, the last Marvel thing that I truly enjoyed was Daredevil on Netflix. That kind of was where I was pretty much done after that. I'm looking for ones that are dead. I mean, I enjoyed all of the seasons. Season 2 was kind of weak, though. But season 1, I'd say, was the last time I really enjoyed something. Like, I'm so burnt out on superhero stuff. I haven't even watched the Spider-Man multiverse movie, whatever it was. Enter the Spider-Verse. Into the Spider-Verse? I haven't seen that movie yet, just because I'm so burnt out on superheroes. I want to see it, and I will watch it eventually, but I'm not going to watch it for a couple more years. It's because I'm so burnt out on superheroes. With the Kilgrave villain? Didn't watch it. Daredevil was the only one I watched. Because Daredevil is my favorite superhero. The only one I really read the comics for. Ostman Puppet flinches the Mercy Puppet stunt of castles was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, an enormous skinless Dimetrodon. It had a round shell and it is ravening. Beware its poisonous vapors. It attacked the Oakboard Gillis in Blizzard Worked. Struck down a boatload of dwarves from the looks of things. But was struck down by a dwarf. Damn it! No name dwarves. 11 notable kills and 5 other kills. Oh yeah, people liked Jessica Jones. I never watched it. Around the time I was getting around to watching it, they all got, I need to know what Skuldrinks is. They all, got canceled. Totlash Skuldrinks was a forgotten beast, the only one of its kind, an enormous blob created of ash. It has a knobby shell and it undulates rhythmically. It was associated with water, murder, and caverns. That's a weak one. I feel like if you watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. along with the timeline of Marvel's movies, it was the pinnacle of how good the MCU got. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was one of those weird shows where there's no legal way for me to watch it without spending a lot of money, at least when it was airing. It's one of those things where I would have had to get a cable subscription to actually watch it. And I have this weird kind of moral thing where it's like, if a show isn't available for me to affordably watch it, I just won't. I know, like, I could steal it. I know I could, but I'd rather just not. It's like, it's not worth the effort. You know what I mean? It's just like, make your shows, and it annoys the hell out of me because I'm a big fan of the director of Ex Machina and Annihilation, who directed and co-wrote the series on Hulu called Devs. There is no way for me to watch that show legally in Canada without subscribing to cable. It's on FX. I can't actually access the FX app. FX has a streaming service which is $6.99 a month, but it's not available in Canada. It's like, what the fuck? Just let me give you my money. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Oh, no, you're completely correct. You know, we're kind of going backwards again, but it is what it is, and there isn't much I can do about it, so complaining is just annoying for everybody involved, so I would rather not do that. But I will just not buy it. If it's not on one of the services I have, that's fine. I mean, I have, between Amazon Prime and Netflix, I've got more content than I could ever want. Is there anything else you guys want to know about this world? Amos! Or Amas, was a forgotten beast. It was the only one of its kind, a gigantic, noseless capybara. It has a spiral shell, and it undulates rhythmically. Its periwinkle hair is unkept. Beware its noxious secretion. So I think it's time for us to jump back into our fortress. There was no forts over there, though. In that area of the world. Like, there was nothing. It was just a desert. Let's jump back into Fang Shimmers. I'm changing from Dwarf Fortress to Dwarf Fortress? I mean, yeah.